Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz. People always ask us, how did we get into opal mining? Well, Dad always had an adventurous side to him, so in 1970 he said, we're finished in Finland, we're moving to Australia. And Dad was a stonemason, but he had other stones on his mind. So on the weekends and holidays he started going to Andamooka, and that's how he caught opal fever. Thanks for listening and stay tuned for the next episode. Nano, where were we up to on the River Gemz story? You remember? Oh, yeah. After hobby mining in Andamooka, Dad was hooked on opals. So he moved to Mintabie in 1986 to become a full-time opal miner. He wasn't very lucky, but he was extremely stubborn, as I remember. And he kept at it every day for a long, long time. One explosion after another, from one mine to the next, always hopeful to find opal. To find that elusive gemstone of 90 to 130 million years old called Rainbow Rock. And there's Daddy. Yeah. So, shall we continue the story? Oh no, you look very tired. Maybe we'll carry our story on tomorrow. Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz. Nano's been waiting very patiently for the next episode of our River Gemz story. So in 1991, Nano, I joined Dad in Mintabie because he was asking for some short-term help, but the thought of living in that very, very hot tin shed in 50 degrees wasn't very appealing to me. Well, it turned out, however, that I really wanted to go opal mining, because I shared Dad's dreams. And together we mined for 13 years, Nano, we mined for. Whilst we never got any riches, but we really had lots of fun and lots of adventures, just like Nano does. Do you remember where we left off? Remember? Dad went to Andamooka, and then in the big rush, everyone went to Mintabie. And Dad was in Mintabie, and then he rang me up and said, Harri, come and join me opal mining. So I did. And then I went to Cooper Pedy to learn how to cut opals, and that was with Stuart Jackson, because he was the best teacher in the whole wide world. And this is how I learnt how to cut my opals, Nano. And look, there's my first opal. There, yeah. Isn't it a pretty opal? So we'll continue this story again soon. Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz again. Nano's been waiting for the next episode of our River Gemz story. Now, Nano, that I have been cutting opals for quite a while now, so I thought, where can I sell my opals? I can't really sell them in mine. So I went for a holiday to Lake Tinaroo, and that included a trip to Port Douglas. And they had the most beautiful markets there. So I thought, what a great place to sell our opals, Nano. And so that's where I started my first stall. Look, there's me selling opals at the Port Douglas markets. And I did that for quite a long time. So thank you for listening, Nano. Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz. We're continuing our story today with Nano and all her friends. All her friends have been waiting for the next part of our story. So after 10 years of selling in the markets, my stock had outgrown the market and I was ripe for a change, leading to the creation of Opal Time in Kuranda in far north Queensland. Whilst Opal Time was a huge success, various circumstances brought me to reconsider my future and a return to South Australia. My little sister Marriott, coincidentally looking for a new direction in her life after 31 years teaching mathematics, Nano. So we decided to join forces, and this is how River Gemz was born here in beautiful Manham. And that's the end of the first part of our story. Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz. We're just continuing our story because Nano's got all her friends here, and she's told me that they all wanted to listen to the next part of our story, but I think most of them said, go and get stuffed! Go and get stuffed, Nano!
Hi, it's Harri here from River Gemz. Just continuing our story, I just wanted to tell you about the Cretaceous period, Nano, before Jurassic. That's when most of the opal was formed. As the old ocean dried out, it concentrated the minerals, and then millions of years of rain, it would turn to silica, and when it hit something hard like this shell, it would opalize. So that's very exciting. Twice as old as the dinosaurs, Nano.